Hi, everyone. My name is Caitlin Durst, and I am the program coordinator for 826 Michigan. And I'm really excited to be taking you through the volunteer info session. So grab a comfy place to sit, and here we go. I'm going to share my screen with you now. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over this PowerPoint. So right now we're going to be going over the volunteer informational session. It's about a 30 minutes, 45-minute video, and we're just going to talk about all the great ways that you can get involved in 826, as well as just like an introduction to our history and what 826 is doing in the world. So 826 is part of a national network of chapters. 826 was founded in 2002 by Dave Eggers. He is this person right here. And he is a very well known author, published a book in 2002 that got a lot of press and made a lot of great money. And he wanted to use some of that funds to create a creative writing space that really highlighted a one on one relationship building aspect that a lot of teachers just were not and are not able to duplicate in their classrooms. And so, along with Nineveh Calgary, he made 826 Valencia, which is in San Francisco in California. And together they decided that they would open this 826 Valencia space. We get our name from 826 Valencia. It's actually a street address, and so that's where the numbers come from. And it was opened in a space that was zoned for retail. So they were trying to figure out how to make this space both creative and welcoming and kind of anti capitalist. And so they decided that they would open a pirate themed storefront. And in the back, there would be this whimsical tutoring space and a space for creative writing. And so, with that, our goal and our mission is to assist students ages 6 to 18 with their writing skills and to help teachers get their classes excited about writing. Our work is based on understanding that great leaps in learning can happen with one on one attention, and that strong writing skills are fundamental to future success. So from there, a lot of chapters across the country wanted to open. And so across the screen here, you see the chapters that we currently have in existence right now. And just so you know, there's a lot of great ones out there. They're all different themes, but the same writing values, the same values for students and their families. And so in New York City, we have the superheroes store in Brooklyn. And in Chicago, we have the secret agent theme store. We have in LA, time travelers. Boston is Sasquatch. DC is magic. New Orleans is haunted, and we just opened a new MSP chapter. You'll see it over here kind of highlighted. And MSP stands for Minneapolis St. Paul, and they are the Mid Atlantic Oceanographic Institute. They just opened on August 26th, aka 826 Day, and so we're really excited to welcome them into the network. We also have kind of like a mother chapter, 826 National. They're not, I guess they're not really a chapter, but they kind of do all the broad research and just understanding of programming and how the 826 network really like functions as an organization nationally as well as locally in each chapter. And so you should definitely check them out if you're interested in learning more about the research that they are doing and participating in and how we're growing our creative writing network. 826 National has been recognized as one of the best nonprofits to work at several times, and so you should definitely just like check them out and see. It's just a really creative website and lots of great resources for working with students, both inside of 826 as you're volunteering with us and out in the world as you're interacting with young people. So, of course, there's 826 Michigan. We are the best. Robots are the best. Our theme is robots. We opened in 2005 in Ann Arbor, and since then have opened another space in Detroit called the Detroit Robot Factory. So we have 2 physical spaces, the Liberty Street Robot Supply and Repair in Ann Arbor, and then Detroit Robot Factory at Eastern Market. We're called 826 Michigan as opposed to 826 Ann Arbor or Detroit, just because we do have the vision and the goal and the hope to serve students and their families across Southeast Michigan. So we really are working in Washtenaw County as well as Detroit, in libraries, schools, after-school programs, our centers, community centers, really just anywhere they'll let us in. And so we're always looking to partner with new organizations and new programs in the Southeast region and reach more students and families with the power of writing. So yeah, we're really excited about that. So we're in Ann Arbor, Detroit, and Ypsilanti right now, and we're excited about that. 826 Michigan really has grown a lot since we originally were come about in 2005. So when we first started, we had about 2 people, and we're still kind of a lean team, but we make it happen, especially with great gratitude and support from our volunteer corps. So right now we have 8 full-time staff members, 2 part-time staff members, 2 AmeriCorps, 7 or more interns, 500 active volunteers, and 3,265 students who we have served. We're funded through a variety of sources, including grants from foundations and corporations, revenue from our robot shops, individual donations, and events. There's a lot of ways you can keep up with 826 Michigan. We send out a lot of different forms of communication, including some emails. You will receive a monthly newsletter as well as a volunteer email once you're all signed up. And then we also have websites where you can engage with. We have 826michigan.org, which you're probably familiar with from just filling out the volunteer application. And then we also have onwardrobots.com, where you can go to fulfill all of your robot needs if you can't make it to one of the robot stores in person. And then we also have the motherboard. The motherboard is a resource that we have cultivated that kind of has a lot of tips for interacting and working with students, as well as research that we've gathered and created. And so we'll definitely share that with you too once you get onboarded after this training. We have a lot of social media spots. If that's your thing, you should check that out. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We also have a secret Facebook hub. And so if you want to be part of that, let us know as well. Next up is the 826 inclusion statement. 826 National and its chapters really strive to be as inclusive as we can. We're always learning. And so 826 has created this inclusion statement. As an organization committed to encouraging youth in their creative expression, personal growth, and academic success, 826 National and its chapters recognize the importance of diversity at all levels and in all aspects of our work. In order to build and maintain the safe, supportive 826 environment in which great leaps of learning occur, we commit to inclusion. We will not discriminate on the basis of race, religion, ethnicity, age, gender identity, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, nationality, marital status, English fluency, parental status, immigration status, military service, or disability. We also have the 826 stands, kind of a more visual representation of what we stand for in our students. So we stand for our students' right to express their opinions freely, creatively, and safely, and to provide them the space to do that free of judgment and full of support. We stand for our students' right to tell their stories, share their experiences, seek out information and answers. We stand for connecting our students to caring adults, volunteers eager to listen as students search for the answers and discover themselves. Through our work and our actions, we must continuously support the development of our students' voices and stories, and also celebrate those voices and stories. We stand for building diverse and inclusive environments for our students, our volunteers, and our staff. So it's really great to work at an organization that kind of has this at the forefront. And as I said, we're always learning and growing, and just excited to serve more people. So now we're going to transition into all the great programs where you can volunteer. We'll start with after-school tutoring. We have 3 different locations right now: in Ann Arbor at our Liberty Street Robot Supply and Repair, and then in Ypsilanti at the Michigan Avenue branch, and in Detroit at the Detroit Robot Factory. So we'll start with Ann Arbor. Ann Arbor is Monday and Tuesday, 4 to 6 p.m., and then Wednesday and Thursday, also 4 to 6 p.m., starting October 14th. Ypsilanti is Wednesday and Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m., and Monday and Tuesday, 4 to 6 p.m., starting November 4th. And Detroit is Monday through Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m. So tutoring is really the space where we like to kind of like highlight and cultivate that one-on-one relationship building that 826 was founded on. And so because of that, your commitment to tutoring really is important. So I think one of the best ways you can really go about that is deciding which day would work within your schedule and just choose that day every week to come to tutoring, whether it be a Monday or a Thursday. Just decide that that's the day that you're going to come from 4 to 6. You do have to be there for the whole 2 hours. We often also have 15 minutes on either side that you can come early and help us set up, and you can stay later and help us tear down and, discuss anything that might have happened that day. So there's a lot of kind of like wiggle room beforehand and after, but 4 to 6 p.m. is a definite time that you need to be there for the whole 2 hours. It is a really important part of our programming to, again, have that relationship building time. And so the 2 hours are really important to be there for. And so this is a tutoring lab. It really is all homework. It's not just writing or literature. But you can really expect students to bring in like any homework that you can imagine, maybe things that you can't, and just be open-minded and willing to help them and work beside them as they're doing their homework. Our tutoring labs are not like the traditional school, like environment. And so it's not necessarily about like, get it done now, do it right. Again, it's more about sharing space and creating safe space for learning and growth and having fun too. So our tutoring, we also do snacks, we do writing activities, we have lots of other fun, just opportunities to relate and like community build with each other. And so it's super fun. And I really hope that you can get involved with tutoring in one of these cities in some capacity. We also do a lot of great creative writing workshops. Of course, 826 Michigan is very much writing at our forefront. And so our workshops are where it's at if you're interested in working with creative writing specifically. We often work with a teaching artist who will come in and teach a certain workshop on a specific subject, whether it's poetry, fiction, nonfiction, can be journalism. There's so many things that we have done workshops on. It's always really fun and interesting. And sometimes they're in the evenings or on the weekends. And so it's kind of a flexible schedule. It's usually a one-time hour and a half to 2 hour thing. And so it's not something that you would have to commit to long term. But workshops are so great, and it's just like a great way to be involved. And starting November 2nd, they'll be coming to Ypsilanti. And so please put that down on your calendar if workshops are something that you're interested in. We also have drop-in writing through our program called WeBots, which is also a workshop in its own right, and that's happening on Liberty Street in Ann Arbor. and it's 6 to 7 p.m. on Wednesdays. And it's called Weebots because it serves our youngest writers, so ages 6 through 10, and that's really our focus. And so it's all about storybooks, it's all about storytelling, it's all about reading a story together and creating a prompts about that story. So it's an hour long, it's super fast, but very fun and a huge outcome. We also have some programming in Detroit that's still in the works, and so stay tuned for that. We have in-school projects as well. We're really excited to work directly with teachers and in classrooms where students are during the day. And so you can find us in a variety of different schools, Ypsilanti and Ann Arbor and Detroit, depending on the time of year. And so right now, our in-school projects are coming, still being solidified right now and finalized, but we plan to work with Ypsilanti Community High School, Erickson, and Estabrook, and those are all in Ypsilanti. And we'll be announcing other partnerships too as the semester and year kicks off. But for now, that's kind of our plans. And we often go in for a 4 to 6 week amount of time directly during the school day. So it's in afternoon times, sometimes morning as well. And we do poetry clubs, we do writers clubs, we do other types of long workshop style classrooms with subjects such as journalism. We've done stuff with fairy tale Mad Libs last year. We do a lot of translation projects, and so it really is fun and exciting and just like an interesting, different way of learning. And it's really great to provide some 826ness within a classroom setting. And so definitely try to come to these if you can. These are where our books often get made, and lots of other chat books are coming out of these projects as well. So our in-school writing projects are super great and also require your commitment. So if you have afternoons or earlier mornings available, please consider volunteering here. Dr. Bloch's family writing labs are really fun. It's an opportunity for the whole family to get together and experience what 826 does. We do writing activities, we have pizza, we do writing prompts. Dr. Bloch appears, and Dr. Bloch is kind of like our crotchety, fictional, yet very real editor-in-chief of 826 Michigan Publications. And they're someone who is kind of like the opposite of what 826 believes. So they believe that like all students are sticky and like kids are horrible writers and that kind of stuff. And so students are always racing against whoever Dr. Bloch is to prove them wrong. And I say whoever Dr. Bloch is because you too can be Dr. Bloch. It can be played by any volunteer or staff member who wants to. So if you're interested in playing Dr. Bloch, please let us know. A field trip, which is the next slide here, is another space where you can also be Dr. Bloch. Field trips are something that happens on Wednesday and Friday mornings in Ann Arbor, and then Friday mornings in Detroit right now. Our schedule again is still being kind of finalized with really, really great fun. Again, fun is kind of our thing. Opportunity to be involved with students. They come in for a 2-hour block of time between 10 a.m. and noon and write original stories and publish them in our space just in 2 hours. It's really, really great. It's super funny, the stories that they come up with. Their imagination is incredible and inspiring. And we do so many different types of workshops within this 2-hour field trip period. And it's super, super fun. So whether it's choose your own adventure or a zine writing workshop where you talk about issues that you want to solve in your community, or like talking about like how to survive anything. How would you survive a painting if you were trapped inside a painting? How would you survive a Michigan winter? all important questions that we all need to answer. So 10 to 12 is the time. Again, this is a one-time um, thing, and so school classrooms are only coming to us once, so you don't have to necessarily commit to come every Wednesday or Friday, but we would love it if you could, and you should definitely try to come at least once, because again, they're fun, and it's just so great to be in the energy of a field trip. And as you can see, volunteers are also encouraged to arrive at 9:30 or 9:45 just to get the space set up, figure out who's coming to visit us that day, get to know whoever else is volunteering that day, and yeah, just get prepared. So student publications, I think I've mentioned a few different times. We do have 2 professionally bound books that we come out with every year. One is our anthology of kind of like the best of the best student work, which is called the Omnibus. And the other one is called the Young Authors Book Project, or YVP, and that comes directly from a school classroom. And of course, we have many informal zines and chat books that are published from every workshop that we do with our students throughout all of our programs. So our publications really are the forefront of where our student voices are really being heralded from, and we're really excited about that, and so are they. As you can see in this series of pictures right here. The power of publishing student work. This is what happens when they see their work in print. It kind of goes from shock to utter joy and pride. And, that's just what we want students and young people to feel, like ownership over their own work, seeing their own name in a book. It's just incredible and powerful. And as you can see, this story is called The Tooth Fairy, and he's missing a tooth, so it's probably a memoir. We've also had student work go on to get published on Twitter and then go viral. And so if you're ever working with somebody who's like, why does this work matter? You can say, well, actually, it really might brighten somebody's day. It might brighten 100,000 people's days. And so you never know where your work is going to end up. We've had a lot of students across the network go on to do like really powerful things. And so this is a stepping stone just to other beautiful and whimsical opportunities. We also have several cohorts of kind of like technical and outreach support that we would love to receive from you. And these all have flexible commitments. And so if you want something that is not necessarily working directly with students and you have one of these skills, this could be for you. We're always looking for skilled help in design, illustration, photography, videography, translation, both print materials and in-person help, typing and editing student work, building books, and tabling and flyering. So we have a cohort and for each of these things, and if you're interested in being involved in one of them, just let us know and we'll add your name to the list, and we'll send out a call whenever we need somebody from that cohort, and hopefully you answer that call. We also have volunteer shifts available at the robot factories. And so if you're interested in working in one of the robot stores, they are completely staffed by either 826 Michigan staff or volunteers. And so that could be a great way to work directly with us and become an 826 Michigan ambassador. It's a really cool place to work because 100% of the proceeds go straight back to our program, so you don't have to worry about like where is this money even going. And we have just amazing revenue and amazing kind of robot supplies just within our stores. It's just so fun to see what we even have in there. And also, like, a lot of times it's just chill, so you can just bring a book, or if you have homework you can work on that. And so it's just like a fun environment. It's not like any other retail space that you'd ever work in unless you worked in another 826 store. And so we have a lot of shifts available in Ann Arbor. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 8. And so a lot of times you can come in for a 2 to 3 hour shift and kind of serve us in that way for a 4-month commitment. If you can't do 4 months, we might accept another 2 months or something like that. But a lot of times we want to create a schedule that's consistent. So we would love it if you could kind of like commit to a longer period of time for the store shifts. And yeah, that would be a great way for you to serve us. The next step is to attend a fully programmed. It will be in person. This is a workshop that is directly about how to work with students and how to be involved in the programs that you'll be a part of. So it's a training. It's really involved. It's very like interactive. You'll do a lot of writing prompts. You'll do kind of like learning about your own identity and talking to other folks about their identities and the students' identities if they're in the space. We'll do a lot of like scenarios and role playing and just kind of figuring out what is even tutoring and what is even creative writing workshop, and trying to figure that out together, and how we want our spaces to feel and how we might want our students to feel when they're in our spaces. And so from here, you'll get a link to the motherboard. You can go to the volunteer calendar, which I'll go over in a moment, and sign up for a shift, and then arriving a few minutes early to the first day or just every day of your life is a great, thing to do. So here's basically the step-by-step guide to signing up for the volunteer calendar. It's pretty easy. First of all, make sure you're on 826michigan.org. That's where you want to be. You'll go over here to this Get Involved tab and click on that. You'll see the volunteer section. Click on that, and then you'll see volunteer sign-up calendar. And again, click on that. And then from here, you'll see the calendar appear. You might notice that there are 2 tabs up here. Make sure you're in the right tab. A lot of people get confused and don't see their programs, and sometimes it's because they're not in the right tab. So just make sure you're kind of in the space that you want to be in, volunteering-wise. And then once you click on one of these days, wherever you want to be volunteering, you'll see this other box pop up with the first name, last name, email, and you'll be able to kind of fill that out, and that's how you're signed up. If you can't make it for some reason, please let us know, and we'll forgive you. So housekeeping stuff, you'll receive a volunteer handbook in your email after going through this training. It goes over a lot of stuff that I've talked with you during this, and it also has just like great protocol and tips for working with students. Just some safety things to go over that are really important. The first is basically like don't share your phone number, email address, any kind of social media with students and their families. Never give them a ride home, and never work alone with them. If you're tutoring our students, please do not provide your tutoring service outside of 826 Michigan for a paid opportunity. If you do feel like you want to do that, then we're going to have to ask you to leave as a volunteer while you're doing that, and then after you're done, you can come back. These are just like general safety, really important things for you to know, especially in a space where you're working with people who are under the age of 18. Our dress code is very casual, but we basically say like anything you would feel comfortable wearing to a kindergarten classroom or in front of your grandma. So hopefully that means something to you. I don't know who your grandma is, but generally that means nothing with like, any kind of beer, alcohol, or naked people, or like, offensive stereotypes, racist, homophobic type stuff. Just don't wear anything like that. So housekeeping continued, actual housekeeping. There's a lot of different things that happen in our spaces, a lot of paper and pens and pencils. And so encourage students to pick up after themselves. You do not have to pick up for them, but definitely encourage them to do it. Again, your commitment matters. they are looking for you, especially if you're coming to tutoring on a daily, weekly basis. They're definitely looking for you and wondering where you are. And so please show up and continue showing up. And remember, our students always come first. And so if anything ever happens that seems like a red flag or seems like something that you want to tell a staff member about, please don't hesitate to. It's okay to not have the answer. It's okay to say no or I don't know and come back to that student. It's definitely okay to alert the staff. It's necessary. And so definitely let us know what's happening. Here's our staff. It's a lovely group of people. It's kind of changed a little bit since this picture was taken, but we're all here to help you and help your opportunity to volunteer with us to be as lovely and growth oriented as you want it to be. Lastly, when in doubt, please email these two lovely people. Sheena is a volunteer manager, and Christina is our student engagement specialist, Vista, and they would be able to kind of answer any of your questions, calm your fears, kind of help you figure out which program might fit into your schedule, and also kind of direct you to a staff member if you need to talk to someone specifically and you don't know how to do that. So they'll help you. Please email them. They're both very, very nice. And so with that, thank you so much for coming. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you and meeting you in person soon. Bye.